All right, so as you guys know, I'm visiting Stephen in Indiana right now. And while I was down here, we watched Star Trek Beyond. If you want to go see that review, it's up right now.
Check the link or...
Yeah, I'll put a
check
link
those.
down below.
Right.
And we also checked out Lights Out, which was produced by James Wan and a new horror director, so that was pretty cool. As you guys probably know, this was first a short film. Started out, how long was it? Maybe 2 minutes long?
It was like a 2-minute, 30-second video.
Yeah, but it was really creepy. And
it was pretty good. I mean, if you haven't seen it, it's uncommon for me to find 2-minute videos that actually kind of give me the creeps.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very well done, and I like how they stretched it. They actually made a sound plot out of it.
Yeah, James Wan was very nice to make this into a feature film. And one of the things I was really worried about is, okay, this was a short film, and it was using kind of like a gimmick, like an effect. If you guys haven't really seen it yet or don't know what the movie's about, it's about this woman who appears only in the darkness. When you have the light on, she's not there, but if you turn the light off, she appears out of nowhere and she can kill you. That was what the short film was about, and this is what this movie's about. And what I was really afraid of was okay, this was a 2-minute long movie. Can they really make it into a significant plot? And one of the things that I really enjoyed about it was they did. And it's actually a really concrete story.
It centers around a family in particular, and it starts out with this guy. He works in a textile factory late at night, and he has an encounter with this entity. And it centers around the same family. The mother's kind of manic, I guess you'd say, not all there. Suffers from, I guess, extreme anxiety.
Hallucinations.
Well,
hallucinations.
Not really, but and it's about this small child and his having to deal with that, and he gets taken by his sister and starts living with his sister, and it follows him, and the entity is is linked with the mother, and it's trying to stay and it's trying to kill people that are trying to take it away from the mother by trying to get her better. Mm-hmm. And it's really, really creepy. It really is. And I'm a person, jump scares, make, anyone go, bleh. But it's very rare for me, at least, for a horror movie to legitimately, make my spine tingle and make me kind of the hairs on the back of my neck stand up. And this movie kind of did that. There was a lot of uncertainty about it. There was a lot of, where's the bad guy? One scene in particular, there is, as Corbin mentioned, she can only be seen in the darkness, where they have all the lights turned on and stuff like that, and you still notice here and there little dark spots, under beds or in closets and things like that. And it's one of those things where it just kind of makes you grab the armrests and be oh, is it over there? Is it over there?
Yeah,
you don't
exactly.
know where it is.
And another thing I really liked about this film is there's family drama and everything. I love how it acknowledges these are characters, and the characters are really well done. I love how the film acknowledges nobody is perfect. There weren't these characters were they were really well done. Their performances were really good. But I love how the film just acknowledges nobody's really perfect in this film. Some of the characters aren't necessarily liked. Especially the mother who's crazy and everything, and even the daughter. I feel as though she was a little bit selfish sometimes.
She's
but at the
kind
same
of
time,
more of the protagonist.
Yeah, she's a protagonist, but at the same time, some of the decisions that she makes are a little bit selfish. But the film acknowledges that.
Well, she does have the best interests of her brother in mind the whole time. She does kind of take steps to kind of
some responsibility, but just to spite her mother.
You could see this film as a bit of a coming of age for the daughter, or the sister, where she initially takes the younger brother in as you have to get away from this, and eventually she kind of starts to become a better and better guardian for him as the film progresses. She's kind of portrayed in the beginning as kind of your irresponsible, just college dropout kind of person. It's living in an apartment over a tattoo shop, and she's got into arguments with social services about whether or not she's a legitimate guardian. One of my favorite scenes was they have the social services lady come over to her house, and she's asking, are you a suitable guardian for this child? And there's a bong on the table right next to her, and it was so funny. And I pointed that out to Corbin. I was like, dude, there's a bong on the table.
And another thing I really liked about this film is like this is kind of what I think about all James Wan films is like the jump scares actually pertain to the story. Like usually like in scary movies nowadays, like the jump scares are just random. Like a bird flies by or
if you've seen our review for The Forest,
on.
like that kind of nonsense.
That is what we had a problem with The Forest. Like it's just
it doesn't make
radio turned on and everything.
And
like,
another thing I like about James Wan is that he doesn't force scary moments where one doesn't need to be.
Exactly.
If you watch the Lights Out movie, like there's not a whole lot of just jump scares, like where somebody will like walk around a corner and there'll be something standing there, or like somebody will like open the door and there'll be like something behind the door or something like that. It's a lot of, and for me at least, I find things are actually more frightening when they're not jumps. Like if somebody's like walking down a hall and there's something behind them, that to me scares me more than a jump scare would. And James Wan, I feel, has mastered that, and he can really kind of do just like creepy little things like that. Like one scene in particular where the mother is in her bedroom opening the door, speaking to her daughter through the door, and the entity like grabs the door and like kind of closes the door, and I was like, oh, that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And it's just little things like that kind of like make my spine crawl, and it does that a lot more effectively than a jump scare would. And I feel like James Wan is a very, very good director and is very good at doing things like that. He didn't direct this film; he helped produce it, and sadly, I don't think he's going to do a whole lot of horror films after this.
Regardless,
which is tragic, but
yeah, regardless, though, like even him as just a even though him as a producer. Like, yeah, I feel as though it works just fine. Like, usually like they talk to the directors and be like, hey, what if you did this? And like, I don't know, like I kind of prefer him as a producer because like he offers insight and you can tell that there was a little bit of like that James Wan feel to it. And I would still like to see more from this director, most definitely. He did an amazing job with this film.
I feel like James Wan is kind of trying to mold him to be the next James Wan.
It's like, hey, I'm about to do Aquaman. Like, I need you to take over.
Specifically, one of the things that I liked the most was there's a scene where, or quite a few scenes actually, where the daughter and the younger brother are trapped in the basement, and I really like that because to me that was the creepiest part because like they're trying to make light and they don't have the means to, and like they find this old black light and they're like walking around with this and trying to find stuff and it's just creepy stuff down there, and I kind of like that. I don't know, I'm weird. I like the kind of like more subtle horror stuff.
The really like cool scene whereas like you have this plot device in a story that helps you out, like it's like something that you're introduced to. It's like, oh, they just need light. That's so simple. But like when they're in a location where they cannot get light, oh my god, that scares the audience. And
it's hard to not spoil it because there's so many just little things that you have to see the movie and get. But it's honestly one of the easily the best horror film to come out this year.
Oh yeah, like besides The Conjuring 2, which was again. Involved James Wan. Yeah. I would recommend this. Like, I don't generally like
fantastic.
do that.
I mean, I'm a huge horror movie fan.
Yeah.
Like, I usually see the majority of the horror films that come out. I love getting creeped out. I love being scared. So I see a lot of them. And this one honestly has it definitely has my endorsement. It's. I mean, I'd hate to see them do like what they've done with a lot of like the Insidious franchise.
Oh no! Yeah. I don't think this really deserves a sequel
because there's nowhere else you can take it.
Yeah, but I feel as though more work from this director. Oh yeah, most definitely. But like no. I don't think that they should beat the horse with this one. I feel as though they should really just leave it alone because I think it's like it stands on its own just fine. Also, honestly, I without going into spoilers, I did not necessarily care for the ending. When the film ended, I just felt like, oh, it's over. Like that's one of the main problems I had with this
Yeah.
film is like, okay, it's over. But the stuff before that though, I was like, okay, this is like really good. This is some good scares, some good character development, some good family drama.
And I feel like some of the best horror movies, the ones that don't have happy endings, are the ones that leave a little bit of uncertainty at the end.
Yeah.
And this one, without, I mean, because I don't know how I can say this without spoiling, but it ties up the loose ends nicely. Mm-hmm. And it kind of sets it up so there's no possibility for there to be a sequel.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how I feel about that, just because I kind of like it when they leave, even if there's not a sequel, they just leave a little bit of uncertainty. Like I'm trying to think of a movie off the top of my head that does that.
Well, like, maybe, I don't know, Blair Witch Project, and like after like 10 or
where like the
20
bad guy
years,
wins,
we finally
and
have like a
the
Blair
entity
Witch
wins.
Project.
Like all of that's like probably the only good thing about the Paranormal Activity movies. I am not a fan of the Paranormal Activity movies. And I would like to see more movies based off of YouTube short horror films.
Yeah,
like
most definitely.
like the Jumping Man and stuff like that. Like if you haven't seen those, there's a lot of really good just short YouTube horror films out there, and it'd be kind of neat to see those. Turned into
this is a good example of someone who started out fairly small and was picked up by like a well-known director and brought to movie theaters. This is a really good example of that. I actually really kind of like the background of this movie. So
it's like it's a nice rags to riches story.
Yeah,
I kind of like that.
So we definitely recommend you check it out if you guys are huge horror buffs. If you guys have seen it yet, comment down below what you think of this movie, like the video, share it, and please subscribe to Pixel Talk if you haven't yet for more movie reviews, trailer reactions, and gaming content.
And Steven.
Yes, and Steven. Thank you guys so much. I am Corbin Stuckey.
I'm Steven Van Ostenbridge.
I forgot to let you say your name. I'm sorry about that.
Dude, come on, man.
I'm
you
sorry.
Know me for how long?
I'm so used to me saying my name.
I feel like I should be listed as like executive producer from now on.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I am Corbin Stuckey.
I'm Steven Van Ostenbridge.
And this is Pixel Talk.
Cheers.
Cheers. I don't have anything to...
You're not touching mine.